I was in the car when he got shot, and that's when I found him.
Just a night, hold on tight. Yeah, it's actually a cup of it's a cup of lamb soup, so it is. That's why I didn't post during the week. Since about last Thursday, I have been wiped out with a cold, and I'm still trying to get over it. So it's actually a cup of lamb soup this morning. So yeah, not ideal, but what can we do? Oh, how you doing this week, Brian? You having a good week? Obviously, I'm looking at my team, and from what I've saw, Estevao and João Pedro both doubts because of the international break. So I am thinking of going Estevao to GREALISH. I was tempted by Reinders, but I'm not overly keen on him. City's fixtures aren't fantastic, and I'm interested in taking a punt on GREALISH. Unfortunately, the punt in Estevao didn't pay off. I should have gone Sar in the end, but it's not a game breaker. We're still 3.2 million. So it's all good. It's all good. Last week was a bit of a red arrow, but it's still early days. So I mean, it was I don't know. It was unfortunate. I think it was unfortunate. That's what I would say. How much we have? 0.7 in the bank. So I mean, the only options are 7.2. So let's go 7.5. Enzo, not convinced by Enzo. A lot of people, and he's actually in different kind of data points and stuff like that. He is quite high, I suppose, because he's on penalties when Palmer's not there, seemingly. But I just think he's had a good first few game weeks. But I don't think it's going to be somebody I'm going to be hanging my hat on. I don't think he's like a must-have asset by any means. GREALISH, obviously, 6.8 million. Like, obviously his data is quite inflated because the last game week and stuff like that. Player of the month as well in the Premier League. Aston Villa at home is, like, I would say a good fixture. I mean, yeah, so we're probably blank now. That's a good point. But part of me can't imagine Aston Villa being worse than they have been. But who knows? And then obviously we've got Liverpool away. So let me see. I'll bring up the planner. Game week 7 wild card. This was no. Which one? I'll go this one. I'll go this one, and we didn't go Star in the end. We went game week 4. Oh no, that was game week 4. Aye. So say we go Estevao now, and we go. Where is he? GREALISH. Don't know why. Don't know why the predicted points aren't working. But anyway, we'll ignore it. So this is probably how we'd line up. Wirtz, vice captain, Salah captain. 3-4-3. Say game week 5 then. In game week 5, you could always just bench GREALISH without having to make a transfer, and that still leaves you with a pretty. What did I do? A pretty strong team. Like, because Aston Villa have Sunderland, pretty sure, at home. Crystal Palace also have a good fixture, and so did Burnley, to be fair. So, like, GREALISH could just be an easy bench that week. Keep the transfer, then we go into game week 6. To be honest, I'm thinking of wildcard in game week 7. You know, so I am thinking of wildcard in game week 7. But then in game week 7, you know, they have West Ham. Grealish has West Ham. So, you know, as long as you're okay with benching him and you can get away with benching him in game week 5, and like that game's going to be spicy as well, so you never know, he could pop up with something. But if you do bench him, you know, you just need to make sure you have decent cover in the rest of the team, which I do. Obviously with Konza and even Devaney, but I don't know what his minutes will be like. And the team looks good there. Obviously, Man United isn't the best fixture, you know, but if Man United continue in the form they sort of been in, should be fine. And then even game week 6, Chelsea have Brighton, Liverpool have Palace, Everton, West Ham. I mean, the team looks good again. And then this is where we sort of look to bring in the Arsenal assets. This is still a work in progress, this team. I'm just trying to figure out if I want to bring Palmer back in. Like, I was looking at the fixtures, and like Chelsea's fixtures from game week 7 onwards are like one of the best. So I still want to keep that triple up, to be honest. But then it's about whether I go without Salah or without Haaland, or if I go with Haaland, no Salah, and just use Gakpo as cover, or, you know, vice versa. So I'm still trying to figure out what the best thing to do is. I mean, as things stand, this wouldn't be the final team, I don't think, but this one has 4 million in the bank. Keep an eye on Kevin at Fulham. Is he a midfielder? I've never heard of Kevin at Fulham. Oh, let's search him up. Is he a new signing, or who is he? Because I honestly have never heard of him. But I'm intrigued. Forgive my sniffles. Winger just joined from Shakhtar. Oh, so he is. I want to keep a lookout then. See, that's the thing. Obviously, the transfer window is closed now. And also, I should actually say, sorry, I'm just doing something. I should say as well, in terms of the game week team, or the wildcard team, like, obviously this doesn't have Isak in it, which actually I could get perfectly. But we'll have to see with Isak. I don't know when. Brian, you maybe have a better idea than me when you think his first game for Liverpool will be. I didn't see much come from the slot press conference, but although I didn't look that hard, so I don't know if he was mentioned. I'm sure he was mentioned, but I don't know what was said. I don't know what was said. See, I don't know if, like, Raya, obviously, I don't know. How much is Vicario? Vicario's 5 mil. And what, you would go, so tight money-wise, that would leave me none in the bank. Oh, see, Gahey, that was me banking on the fact he went to Liverpool. Sugar. First start is 3 to 4 games away, I reckon. Yeah, so it'll probably be game week 7 or so by the time. Well, actually, no, I suppose there's Champions League and stuff like that. But I mean, game week 6, game week 7. Yeah, see, that was. Gahey was in there in the hopes that he went to Liverpool, and he would have been great at 4.5. So, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this team. Like, going without Salah or Haaland, having Palmer and Isaac and Gyökeres and Pedro, and like, it's just a lot. You know, I don't know. It's too many good options. Because I'm not even going with Saka there, I'm going with Eze. Maybe Everton game. Game week 5. Yeah, I suppose by game week 7, you would have an idea of kind of how he's doing, in terms of just form, although it would be like 2 or 3 games. But it's always better to just get a sense than just stick somebody in straight away. I don't know, but that's something to think. That's something. That's something to think about in the future. We have. Oh, and League Cup. I forgot about League Cup. There's so many games. Yeah, that's good. So we may get a sense quicker than we initially thought. That's good. I'll need to keep a lookout. But yeah, that team, I'm not sure. I need to find funds or do something, that's for sure. But yeah, let's take a look at the goal scorer odds for this week. So as we can see, Haaland is number 1, which isn't good news for United fans. And then we have Gyökeres coming in, actually the same as Haaland. And then Mateta's up there as well. I mean, last week I was debating whether I go Mateta or not, and I ended up not going Mateta. Which was also, well, based off one game week, it was a mistake. I'm hoping Wood can actually do me some favours, but this Arsenal fixture is not looking good. So we have Haaland, Gyökeres, Mateta as the top 3, and then we have Salah, Isak, who's up there, which, we all know is nonsense, but anyway. And then we have Ekitike in 6th, Wissett in 7th, João Pedro, who is a minute stout. It's important to note that Maresca in his press conference said that the Brazilian players, so João Pedro, Estevão, and I'm forgetting the third one. I can't remember the third one. But basically the Chelsea Brazilian players, because of where they were playing and altitude and stuff like that, are basically a minute stout. I'm still going to start João Pedro, but I'm not captain or vice captain. Watkins obviously 32%. Everton away. I mean, Watkins has been such a letdown so far. I've held him for 4 game weeks. I'm probably going to hold him for 7, and just pray that we start getting something. But I mean, what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So that's kind of where we are at with Watkins. Then Richarlison makes up 10th spot. Spurs have some good upcoming fixtures. They have West Ham, they have Brighton, they have Wolves, and they have Leeds. Kudos obviously is there as well, who's in my team, so that's good to see. And then Eze for Arsenal is in there. I expect Eze to start today. I think Arteta will want to get him some more minutes, get him kind of consistently in the team. So expect to see Eze in the team today. But yeah, the top 3 are Haaland, Gyökeres, and Mateta. Zertsky, Marmoush, and Nori are all out. Yeah, you're right. They are all out for City. So City don't exactly have the strongest team for United, but I mean, I think personally they'll be grand. I don't think there's any risk of an upset there. But who knows? I just hope it's a good game, because for the past few years, the Manchester derby's been a bit bland and boring. So I'm just hoping for a good week of football. Especially today, there's 12:30 kick-off, 3 o'clock kick-offs, 5:30 kick-offs, and then Chelsea 8 o'clock. So there's a strong day of football. What's going to happen at Forest under Ange? I completely forgot about that. That's a good point. Because of this cold, I haven't been fully locked in FPL this week. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I think this first game week, things may stay the same. But then with like Forest having games like Bournemouth and Sunderland coming up, it could be a bit mental. But well, it's one to just keep an eye on. But in terms of like defensive, and this, I mean, this isn't why I didn't go for Forest. I was never fully convinced by Forest assets, to be honest, and that's why I never had any on my team. And I think now, if I owned Forest defensive assets, I would be slightly concerned, because we've seen before the way Ange plays the high line. It's just an utter nightmare. If you have like Spurs, they scored a lot of goals, but they also conceded a lot of goals. So I would be avoiding any Spurs defensive assets. That's for sure. But who knows? I mean, if I have Wood and those Burnley and Sunderland games get a bit spicy, then I certainly won't be complaining. But it's going to be an interesting one to see. I think sacking Nuno was just in my opinion, was just mental. Like that is my opinion. It's just mental. Like, Nuno is a great manager. The owner, McIntyre, or whatever the flip his name is, it's just he's a crazy guy. And it seems very much like it's almost like kind of Abramovich, you know, just so ruthless. But I think Abramovich wasn't as like the Forest owner seems a bit insecure, if you know what I mean, and just like somebody you really don't want to get on the wrong side of. But yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing. And Arsenal and Forest are the first game, aren't they? So that's going to be an interesting one for sure. What do you think is going to happen, Brian? Do you agree with my analysis, especially of the defensive assets of Forest? Yeah, 100%. It's a big change in style and no transfers of his own. Yeah, true. He's coming into a team that isn't his. I think the very first interview that Gyökeres that Nuno did, that was basically him saying like, you know, the team is lacking players in certain areas, blah, blah, blah. I was just like, yeah, it's curtains. I was just like, this is just not going to end well. Especially with, like, we've seen with McIntyre or whatever his name is, he wouldn't even let Andy, where did I get Andy from? Gary Neville into the stadium when he criticised him. So, yeah, it was only going to go one way. Sorry, moving on. We'll take a look at the clean sheet odds now, actually. So taking a look at the clean sheet odds, we have Liverpool as number 1, Arsenal in number 2. Scott Parker method of self-firing, yeah, pretty much. Newcastle, Palace, Fulham, Chelsea, Man City, Everton, Tottenham, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, West Ham, Leeds, Brighton. Brentford, Sunderland, Man United, Forest, Wolves and Burnley. So, if you have your Salah captain, you will be hoping, and if you have Verts, as well, as I do, you'll be hoping that these clean sheet odds reflect how the game's going to go, with Burnley sat last in terms of the clean sheet odds and Liverpool sat top. You know, my defence is obviously, in terms of goalkeepers this week, it's really bad. I've either got Kelleher of Brentford or Dubravka of Burnley. So if you look, Brentford are 17%, Burnley are 10%. So we're lining up with Kelleher this week. But what else can I do? No worries, Brian. No worries. But we've also got Pedro Porro. Tottenham have a 29% chance. We've got Virgil, Liverpool are top. And we've got Cucurella, Chelsea with 36%. And then in terms of an extra point for Grealish, you know, it's not looking completely unlikely with Everton sat at 31.5% of the clean sheet odds. So, you never know. But if you did have your Arsenal defensive assets, this would be the week to play them. And in a second, we will take a look at the predicted points. We'll actually do that now. We'll take a look at the predicted points now. So predicted points, it is as we would expect, with Salah top with 7.41 predicted points, and second with Haaland and Gyökeres are 1.27 points behind Salah. So, if you're going purely on predicted points, and you swear on the predicted points and the data as the Bible, then Salah is the go-to captain for this week. He's 1.27 points ahead of second and third. Burnley is a fantastic fixture. Salah has been weird so far this season. Obviously, we're literally only 3 weeks in. It feels longer, but we're only 3 weeks in. But, you know, he has returned. He's got some returns, but he's overall been very, very quiet. You know, there's been, I think in the first game against Bournemouth, it was a last sort of second goal in the 94th minute. You know, that was the goal, the return he got. And then in the Newcastle game as well, it was sort of like a last second assist. So, you know, if you were to look at just purely Salah's performance, you would think, oh, he hasn't done too bad. But when you've watched the games, you'd be like, oh my God, he's really, really quiet. He's not involved here. You know, he's barely touched the ball. The returns he has got have been like last minute, sort of last second, sort of quite lucky as well, in a sense, you know. If Slobosai, or however you say his name, didn't leave that ball against Newcastle, you know, that wouldn't have been a Salah assist. So there has been we've been quite fortunate as Salah owners and captainers that we've got that bit of luck, because apart from that, he hasn't been great. But I am hoping that with their next fixtures, you know, being Burnley, Everton, Crystal Palace, that he really kicks on. You know, and I need to see more from him, and especially Verts. Obviously, Verts scored a free kick in the international break against Northern Ireland, and it was a lovely free kick, don't get me wrong. But apart from that, in terms of the Premier League, he's been very, very poor. and underwhelming. And for 8.5 million, he's starting, like, after the Newcastle game, I was convinced that I was going to get rid of him. But due to kind of other things, I think maybe even Gordon getting the red card, I decided to keep him. And obviously, it's, you know, his fixtures are good, so that's the reason why Wirtz is still sort of existing in the team. But like, he has been very, very disappointing so far and extremely frustrating to own. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on Wirtz and seeing how he gets on and where we go with that. But yeah, apart from that, we've got Mateta, obviously, of Palace, Ekatike, another Liverpool asset, Reinders, who's there, who I was considering bringing in into the team, but I don't think I'm going to. And then Eze, Wirtz, Gakpo, and Kudus. Out of all the Liverpool assets you would want to have owned from the start of the season, Gakpo seems to have been the one. So fair play to anybody that went for him. Because he has been by far the best Liverpool asset to own. It's not ideal to not see Grealish in the predicted points, but there's not a lot we can do about that. There's not a lot we can do. And obviously Reinders, yeah, like, he is an option, don't get me wrong, but I just prefer going with Grealish. City's fixtures aren't fantastic, so yeah, that's kind of where my thinking is at. But I don't know, I could be completely wrong. We'll just have to wait and see. This is the thing with FPL, you never know. So yeah. So they are the predicted points there. Let me know in the comments or in the chat if who you're going with captain this week. If you're going Salah or you're going Haaland. I've seen some people going Gyökeres, which never back the early kickoff. But I'd never back Gyökeres. But good luck if you are going for Gyökeres. Because I'm certainly not. I'm not even bringing him in my team until probably game week 7. So yeah, we'll go back to the main page. So yeah, this is my team for this week, probably, with Grealish being brought in for Estevao. So let me know in the chat what you think. If you had Estevao and you were in my position, what would you do? Who would you bring in? Let me see. I don't know why the predicted points is not showing up. It's quite frustrating. This is a template team apparently. So we've got Dubravka, Sanchez, Cucurella, Van de Ven, Virgil, Pedro Porro, Gabriel, Salah, Semenyo, who I wish I could have brought in, but I missed the boat with that. I had planned to do a double move to bring him in, but I think Palmer dropped price when I didn't think he would, and then I was priced out of it frustratingly. Kudos. Reinders, Grealish in the template team. João Pedro, Haaland, and Ekitike. Salah would be a concern. We are going to be sharing goals a lot more, and his form is terrible right now. Yeah, his form is terrible. It's been really, really underwhelming, to be honest, and that's what I was saying. Like, yes, he's got a few returns, but if you actually watch the games, you should be like, wow, he is really, really struggling. Yeah, it's been a weird one for Salah, and Verts as well. I'm really not convinced. I'm going to give him a wee bit longer, like this game week and maybe the next one, and then after that I don't know if he'll be in my wildcard team come game week 7. So we'll have to see. Semenyu's rising in ownership, Grealish rising in ownership, Mateta, Munoz, Sensei, Woods being sold, Palmer's being sold, Cunha and Nori are being sold. So yeah, Grealish is in the team as things stand. Don't know. Saliba news. Is there Saliba news? Has something been said about Saliba? Is he not still injured? Saliba trained yesterday and will decide. So Saliba could come back this weekend. So Saliba trained yesterday and he is potentially going to be in the team this weekend, depending on his fitness levels. So if you have Saliba, I would start him. I would start him and just have somebody good first bench. How much is Waltemade? Let me see. I'll check that for you now. He is 7 million, and Vissa is 7.5. So I mean, if you want to go for a punt, like, there's no harm. Apparently he did very well in the under-21s, from what I've heard. Although I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I was hearing. That he did very well in the under-21s, for Germany. So at 7 million, I mean, he's a lot cheaper. Like, Watkins is 8.9 million. 8.9 million, and has he got a single return? I don't think he's got a single return, has he? 2 points, 2 points, 2 points. And 8.9 million at the minute. I think it was more. I think it was like 9 million. Like, it has been incredibly... His goal involvement is 0.68, 0.45, 0.13 against... Oh my God, against Newcastle. I watched that Newcastle game, the first one. It's just so bad. You like him over Wood? I like him over flipping... This week, yeah, I like him over Wood. I like him over Watkins, that's for sure. But it's the difficult thing is the fixtures for these guys are pretty good for the next few. So I find it very hard to justify, like, you could possibly justify selling João Pedro, but even Brentford, United and Brighton aren't that bad of fixtures, like. So I always struggle to justify selling them when the fixtures are so good. That's why I've kept Watkins for so long, like the 3 game weeks, and he's 8.9 million and he's done nothing. It's so frustrating. But then when you look at his fixtures, you're like, okay, he hasn't returned those, but he's got Everton, and then he's got Sunderland, and then he's got Fulham, and then he's got Burnley. So like, it's going to be like game week 8 before I even consider selling him, which is my fault, like. But then 8, 9, 10, the fixtures change for 3 weeks. But then he has Bournemouth, Leeds, Wolves, Brighton, So it's one of those. It's just so frustrating. Because in the past he has been a good performer, But yeah, I don't know. And the reason he's dropping price already. Yeah, he's dropping price. Yeah. The reason why I'm starting João Pedro and taking Estevao out is because we don't have Delap. So the lap's out. Obviously, we've recalled. Yeah, he has dropped in price already. Yeah, 8.9. So we don't have Delap. He's out for 10 to 12 weeks. Gay or whatever his name is, has been recalled for Sunderland. So he's like our only striker at the minute. Jackson's on loan at Bayern. Obviously, João Pedro is a more kind of mature, kind of established Premier League player. You know, he's not 18-year-old Estevao. Now, when I saw that, you know, Estevao and Pedro were minute doubts for the game, I was like, okay, I'm going to start João Pedro and take out Estevao because, and this could be completely wrong, but we'll have to wait and see. What was I going to say? Like, we have a lot of cover in the wings. Like, we have a lot of players that can cover where Estevao is. So, and I think with him being 18 years old and obviously just moving to the Premier League and trying to adapt, like, I don't think, you know, Maresca will want to do basically what Arteta does with Saka, which is just throw him in, and then he keeps getting injured. I think they will want to manage him. And he may come on for 20 minutes in Brentford, or he may start, who knows. But I don't see him starting because of the cover we have elsewhere. But with João Pedro, I see more chance of him starting or getting, you know, at least 45 minutes, depending on how the game's going. So that's why I'm happy enough to start him. I would just hate to bench João Pedro because I'm convinced he'll come on, whereas I'm less concerned about Estevao, and I feel like Grealish is probably a higher upside this week. What are my thoughts on the Jackson nonsense? Oh my god. I mean, I was glad to see the back at Jackson, but when Delap got injured, I was like, bring him back. But yeah, Jackson is just such he just never convinced me. I just didn't think he was very good. He reminded me too much of Timo Werner, who was a nightmare. Although I thought Timo's attitude was much better than Jackson's. Like, I'll never forget that situation where Jackson was trying to take the penalty off Palmer and all that, and Madueke was over. Like, the attitude issues there were, I just hate that. So I do, and that's why I liked the fact that we sold Madueke, and obviously I've got rid of Jackson because I just don't want players like that in my team. Like, why are you fighting over the penalty when you know who the penalty taker is? I just didn't like it. And I thought the fact, like, Jackson and his agent were just like briefing to the media and posting on social media, basically like telling Chelsea to F off. I was just like, yeah, I mean, this just sums it up. But it was poorly handled by Chelsea, I think, as well. I think they just made a mess of it overall. And like, to be honest, if you're Jackson and the team's tried to loan you out and basically has told you, like, yeah, you're not going to get any minutes, so you can go on loan, like, would you be keen to come back? I mean, I don't think I would be, to be honest. So, I mean, I'm not surprised at his at his response. So yeah, that's what I think about the Jackson nonsense. I should probably make my transfer like now. Oh god, sorry, I'm tired. I'm going to make the transfer now, just so it's done. Estevao out, select replacement. Grealish. Let's just see, is there like sort by price? What are we looking at if we go 7.5 mil? Eze, can't afford him. Gibbs White, no. Semenyo, I would love to have. Gordon, so frustrating. I wanted to bring him in, then he got red carded. Johnson, already have Kudos. Madueke. Oh, Madueke's been in great form. I don't think I can bring in Madueke, and their fixtures aren't that good. Madueke will probably return. I'm calling this now. He'll probably return. Rodgers, I was actually tempted by briefly, ever so briefly, but then I told myself to wise up. Neto, he'll probably get actually good minutes this week. Alanga apparently isn't starting, so apparently Alanga is not starting from some early Newcastle team news. Grealish. Fixtures aren't that great. I'm a fixture merchant, to be honest. Yeah, Madueke is playing well. I wouldn't be surprised if he returns. He'd definitely start, I think. Jimenez and Gyökeres up front. Pardon me. But I don't think I'll be bringing him in this week. He could be an option down the road for my wildcard in Gameweek 7. Yeah, and like, their fixtures are pretty shit as well. I'd rather have Grealish. Obviously, Sarr's injured as well, so unlucky to those that went for him last week. They did get a return, but they've also got an injured player, so that's not ideal. But yeah, we've 14 minutes to go. I'm just going to make this change now. Grealish for Estevao, make transfers, total cost confirm. Okay, so there he is in the team. Do I go? Let's just do that, sure. Fixtures for the week. So we've got Arsenal, Forest, Bournemouth, Brighton, Palace, Sunderland, Everton, Aston Villa, Fulham, Leeds, Newcastle, Wolves. The 3 p.m. kickoffs are not very good this week. Don't know if... Well, obviously I'll be watching Everton, Aston Villa, actually. And I'll realise very quickly whether I made the right move with Grealish. And then we've got West Ham, Spurs, which will be interesting. Then Brentford, Chelsea. Come on, Chelsea. And then tomorrow we've got 2. We've got Burnley, Liverpool, in Burnley actually, and we've got the United Derby. And we are currently 3.2 million with 160 points. We got 45 points last week. So yeah, let's see what's actually game week 5. Arsenal City, that's a big one. United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Everton. There's some fantastic fixtures there. That's for sure. Yeah, his boy. Yeah, Grealish. Yeah, I'm sure he will be, especially with the Player of the Month award as well. He'll be wanting to kick on. Let's hope he really does. Imagine I counted him. No, I'm only joking. What's the leader on points wise? How do we even find that out actually? Here we go. 272, so 110 points more than me. Uses triple captain. Okay, uses triple captain. This team looks awful to me. Oh, so he's uses triple captain and his free hit. I mean, he had a pretty... It's not a good week again, really. Got lucky with the Gyökeres captain. And then he bench boosted it. Okay, so he's used all these chips. He's used all these chips to be first. So, yeah, fair enough. That's so funny. Oh, the number 2 is on the same points. Let's see what he's done. So he free hit last week. No, I've captained Salah. Do you think Salah captain is a bad idea? He's top of the predicted points. He's at 1.27 ahead of everybody else in the predicted points. But so he used his free hit. Decent return. Mbuemo captain. Who is captaining these people? Okay, he triple captain as well. Gyökeres. What? These people are so lucky. This is so annoying. I guarantee you bench boost. Yeah, he bench boosted it. Like, come on. I'd love to know where these people finish come the end of the week, Or sorry, not the week. The season. That's so interesting. Let's look at third then. Are all these people... Okay, so he didn't use a chip in Game Week 3. He captained João Pedro. Did I? I can't remember if I did. I can't remember if I did. Okay, bench boost 125 points. Timber on the bench with a bench boost. Come on. Why did he bench boost that? Maybe, I don't know, maybe. I suppose Leeds, but jeez. Johnson, Caicedo. Like, how is he getting an 8-point return from Caicedo? These teams make no sense to me, and yet they do so well. Game Week 1, he triple captained Haaland. Yeah, so all these people have just used their chips. We'll go through the top 5, sure. There's 9 minutes left. Triple captain again. He went triple captain Bruno. Like, okay. If Bruno, like, this is so funny because it's such fine margins. If Bruno doesn't get that penalty in the flipping last second of the game, he got unlucky actually with the keeper. Enzo as well, João Pedro. Like, oh my goodness. Munoz. Game Week 2, 128 points. He captained Timber. Okay. And he had Gyökeres on the bench as well. Can you imagine he played? Yeah, come on. Why is he captaining Timber and why does he have Calafiori? Like, why are you captaining Timber there of all the players? Like, you'd start. Why is he bench Gyökeres? Surely you'd start Gyökeres instead of like Marmoush. This doesn't even make sense. This team does not make sense. He's starting Marmoush against Spurs instead of Gyökeres against Leeds. Third in his bench. And he's captain Timber. These teams are just like, nah. And he bench boosted where like he bench boosted this. He bench boosted you. He didn't even make any. He didn't make any transfers. So he didn't make any transfers. For some reason he had Timber captain. Game Week 2 he did the same. And then he made transfers. This doesn't make sense. Why would you even bench boost that? Gyökeres against United. I don't even understand. And he's benching back. Oh my gosh. Okay, this one has really blown my mind. I never really look at these teams, but it's actually really interesting. Let's look at number 5. Okay, wild card. So he's used his wild card. Who do you bring in? Okay, so he got rid of Cucurella. Made a change to the defence. Brought in Alanga. Unlucky. Wood. You captain Haaland. Mbuemo. Johnson. They love Johnson. Tarkowski. Pope and Nets. Cunha. That was unfortunate. Game Week 2. Triple captain. Triple captain João Pedro. Come on. Triple captains. And he has Timber. What is this? Oh my goodness. Triple captain João Pedro for 45 points. I don't even think I've got above 10 points in a triple captain before. Game Week 1 bench boost. Why I don't. Some of these bench boosts don't really make sense to me, but I suppose. I don't know. So game week rank, he was 468,000th. And then because of this, because of the João Pedro triple captain, he got up to 74 rank in game week. That's incredible. So yeah, there's the top 5. If only a man could dream. Maybe I should triple captain. Maybe I should triple captain Salah this week, no? Maybe not. Imagine. I don't know when I'm going to use triple captain. I'm so bad at using the triple captain and bench boost. I just I really don't know. I should maybe wildcard into a bench boost in game week 8, but I think we have double chips as well this year, don't we? Pardon me. So yeah. 5 minutes to go, so make sure your team is in order, make sure it's saved. Make sure you know who your captain's going to be. Yeah, clearly it does. Maybe I should triple captain Van Dijk this week. God, who triple captains Timber? Like, seriously, I just don't get that at all. Those teams have actually annoyed me because, like, you spend all week like trying your best to like figure out the best moves and like plan, and then you have some idiot that just triple captains Timber and he's just straight to the top. Yeah, I don't know. How do you get that lucky? How do you get that lucky? Let me make sure my team's saved, actually. Yeah, it's saved. I'm happy enough with the team this week. It's just like, on paper, the team looks really good. But it's just how it works in practice, which is the issue. You know? What's my chip strategy? I don't actually have one. The only chip strategy I have at the minute is game week 7. I'll probably wildcard in game week 7. That's what I've been going off at the minute. I think I'm happy enough to wildcard in game week 7 because obviously we have more chips this year. But I'm still struggling on what my team's going to look like for game week 7. I showed it briefly earlier. Game week 7. I'm minus 1.5 here. I'd love Isak. Don't know about Palmer. Like, the fixtures are quite good, but then that may have to be somebody else. Yeah, so game week 7 wildcard, and then I suppose I could always bench boost in game week 8, depending on how good the bench is. But yeah, that's as far as the chip strategy goes for me. I think we overthink the chip strategy as well a bit, like, because like part of me is just like, why don't I just triple captain Salah? You know, but I don't. It's probably not the best idea. What about your chip strategy? Do you have it? Do you have a chip strategy? 1 minute to the deadline. 1 minute to the deadline. Is my team saved? Yes, it is. I have no idea. I've rolled again because I like my team, so I'll have 3 transfers next week and 4 million in the bank. That's pretty good. Yeah, I had Estevao, and obviously he's a doubt, and he's 18, and I think they'll manage his minutes. So, and if I wildcard in game week 7, I can be slightly more aggressive because I can fix the team if I need come game week 7. So that's why I brought in Grealish. But there we go. That's 11 o'clock. The deadline has been hit. That's game week 4 deadline. And yeah, so that's probably going to do it for the stream this week. That was a good hour of looking at You think Garnacho starts tonight? Flip, I forgot about Garnacho. I think he possibly does. Did he go on international duty? I don't know. I just think like Neto, Gittins, Garnacho, like Estevo's 18. I just think they'll manage his minutes. That's why I started João Pedro as well, because I think, he's more mature, he's more Premier League experienced. I expect him to get a good bit of minutes. Obviously, we only have Gayu as backup. I wouldn't be surprised if Garnacho starts tonight. He probably hasn't been training a lot, but he is an experienced Premier League player. So throw him in and see what happens. No, he doesn't have any match fitness yet, but he needs to get some. So unless they give him 45 minutes, or I just can't see Estevao starting or getting any serious minutes, and that's why I've took him out. But he could prove me wrong. But let's see. But yeah, I appreciate everybody that's joined the stream this week. That was a good hour. Plus, yeah, Bayern next week. Or Bayern midweek. But if we have Bayern midweek, then surely he'll throw Garnacho in. Like, Garnacho wouldn't be starting against Bayern, I don't think. That's why I think, like, I'm starting João Pedro, but I don't think he'll get a lot of minutes. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I just hope we get a win tonight. That's all I care for. I don't care what the team is, as long as we get a win. If Estevao gets a hat-trick and it means we win, then that's the main thing. But yeah, best of luck to everybody this week. Buonanotte as well. See, I don't understand. Is Buonanotte actually our player now? Is he actually a Chelsea player, or is he at Strasbourg? Because I don't understand how the whole thing works. I find it so hard to follow where our players are actually at, because is he even in the game, Buonanotte? It's a season-long loan with no buy option. Who knows what the team's going to be then? Who knows what the team's going to be? Delap's out. There's just Palmer's out. Palmer won't be starting or playing, I don't think. Palmer will be rested for Bayern. That's my opinion. Buonanotte, yeah, he's not in the Champions League squad. Yeah, neither's... Or no, sorry, I think it was somebody else. But yeah, Palmer I don't think will be playing. Pedro will probably only get a few minutes. Gayu could get a flipping 70 minutes. People like Gittins and probably Garnacho as well get minutes. I don't think Enzo didn't go on international break, I don't think. So we'll just have to see. I honestly don't know. I don't know. Let's just hope I have a good FPL week. Yeah, I'm going to end the stream there. But thanks everybody for joining. Best of luck this week. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you next week. Might have a team selection out, might not. May just be the deadline stream. But